Let's travel back to September 8th, 1504. Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, is alive with the scent of fresh bread, the clang of blacksmiths' hammers, and the fervor of a city that prides itself on being the heart of humanist art. This day, though, marks a turning point in the city's cultural history. In the Piazza della Signoria, a crowd gathers to behold the most ambitious sculpture Florence has ever seen. Michelangelo's David, a towering 17-foot-tall marble colossus weighing 6 tons. It's a masterpiece of anatomical perfection, a symbol of civic pride, and the start of a very strange story. You see, David wasn't just a statue. He was a political statement. Commissioned by Florence's ruling council, the sculpture was meant to embody the city's defiance. It's David, ready to slay the Goliath of tyranny. Michelangelo carved him in a moment of contrapposto, that Renaissance stance where one leg bears weight and the other rests, giving the figure a lifelike, dynamic tension. The statue is so precise, the veins so visible, the entire piece of celebration of form, human form, and strength. But here's the twist. Some Florentine officials, upon its unveiling, weren't just awed. They were appalled. You might have expected controversy over politics, but no, this time the backlash was over nudity. David's unclothed form, with all its anatomical detail, was seen as dangerously provocative. City leaders feared it might corrupt public morals, especially since the statue was to be displayed in a public square where women, children, and the easily scandalized might pass by. So what did they do? They ordered a bronze fig leaf girdle. Not a subtle drape, not a cloak, 28 leaves of bronze hammered into a sort of decorative belt to cover the statue's most sensitive region. It wasn't just about modesty, it was about control. The officials saw themselves as protectors of Florence's virtue, even if their solution was oddly literal. The girdle was forged, but something strange happened next. The bronze fig leaf never saw the light of day for 350 years. It wasn't attached to the statue in the piazza. Instead, it was tucked away in the city's archives, a bureaucratic artifact waiting for its moment. Why? Well, the truth is a bit of a riddle. It turns out the girdle's design was so elaborate, so over the top, that the officials hesitated. Covering the statue with a bronze belt would have been like putting a gilded padlock on a cathedral door. It was obvious, fussy, and perhaps even more distracting than the original. But for centuries, the city chose a quieter approach, a plain cloth drape. But it was only occasionally hung over David's lower half during religious festivals and family-friendly days. But the bronze girdle? It just sat in storage, a relic of the 16th century moral panic that was largely forgotten. Meanwhile, the statue itself became a tourist magnet and a lightning rod for debates about art, power, and the human body. For over 150 years, David stood in the square, exposed to the elements and the eyes of all who passed. By the 17th century, even the most conservative Florentines had grown accustomed to him. The bronze girdle, however, remained a secret until the 19th century, when the statue was moved indoors. In 1873, as Florence modernized, David was relocated to the Accademia Gallery. Now protected from weather and prying eyes, the cloth drape became obsolete. But the bronze girdle, still in storage, didn't fade into obscurity. Instead, it became a collectible oddity. Art historians, curators, and even pranksters began to joke. Look, it's the original censorship tool from Michelangelo. The girdle was eventually displayed in the gallery as a historical curiosity, not to cover David, but to highlight the absurdity of the past. The story of the bronze fig leaf girdle is more than a quirky footnote. It's a window into the paradoxes of the Renaissance. This was an era where artists like Michelangelo pushed boundaries to glorify humanity, yet society still clung to rigid rules about decency. The girdle symbolizes the tension between the artistic freedom and public propriety, a debate that echoes through time. The girdle's rediscovery in the 1800s coincided with growing appreciation for David's original form. Over time, the covering became a symbol of how art outlives the fears that once tried to restrain it. Today, the girdle is no longer on David, but it's not lost. It sits in the Academia Gallery alongside the statue as a reminder of one of the oddest chapters in art history. Visitors might chuckle at the idea that a 6-ton marble hero was once deemed too risque to stand in the piazza. They also marvel at how the girdle itself, once a tool of suppression, now stands as a piece of history, a bronze fig leaf frozen in time, waiting to be unseen. So what's the lesson here? Perhaps that art has a way of defying the rules meant to contain it. Or that even the most enlightened societies can have moments of, well, fig leaf logic. Either way, Michelangelo's David remains a beacon of humanity, of human creativity, while his bronze girdle lives on a testament to the oddities of history. A tale of stone, shame, and the surprising ways the past leaves us laughing with hindsight. Thank you for this journey through time today. If you liked what you heard, please hit that like button and that subscribe so you can never miss a day of the daily Pastcast. We'll see you all tomorrow.